Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Eric Johnson. I am the sound technician manager here at Unity of the Triangle. I came here 2 years ago from invitation from Ana Quintana. I'm the producer of her show for Puerto Rico, Unity FM, and online. I'm also a radio personality, having the #1 morning show in the entire state. Thank you very much. And well, we're living in a new world. I'm the perfect example of that. My grandfather from Sweden came to the United States. My dad, Eric Johnson, is on the back helping me today with the sound. He's from Illinois. And I'm the first Mexican, the first Hispanic Eric Johnson. Okay, National Hispanic Heritage Month is a period from September 15 to October 15 in the United States when people recognize the contributions of Hispanics and Latino Americans to the country's history, heritage, and culture. Hispanic and Latino Americans is the second largest ethnic group in the United States, 52 million people, or 17% of the national population. Of them, 47 million are American citizens. In North Carolina, we have close to 1 million Hispanics. Here, at Unity of the Triangle, out of 21 staff support members, 9 are Hispanics. Janice, Yesenia, Ana, and Diana are from Puerto Rico. Susie and Cindy from Dominican Republic, Reina from El Salvador, and Letty and myself from Mexico. Diversity is one of our core values at Unity of the Triangle. RevAna, our Associate Minister, is our speaker today, and we're pleased to know that she will be sharing some insights from her week in the southern border. We want to thank Tim, Jay, the entire band, the choir, for the Spanish music and the Latin tunes. Muchísimas gracias. And I have a special announcement for you. And this is a big favor. Let's make America happy again. And now, to kick off the Latin spirit, RevAna, come up to join us in our congregational song. Vamos, amigo cha.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, bring it over.
I have some announcements for you. Today, we have a workshop at 1:30. Deborah Westmoreland, The Alchemy of Individuation. Remember, 1:30 in room 228. October the 12th, we have the Pet Blessing. So please bring your furry sidekick to our Pet Blessing event on Saturday, October the 12th. As part of the event, we will have your photo taken with your pups on palm and receive a certificate as a memento. While we love pets and it makes us happy to see them wag their tails, we ask that pets to be on a leash for their own safety and that of others. We also have the food bank event October 19, to volunteer, sign up in the lobby today. The homecoming Sunday is October the 20th. One service only at 11 o'clock. Potluck, bring your favorite dish. Stay for the talent show later. And we need volunteers. If you want to help us with the setup for food or cleanup, please sign up in the fellowship hall today. And October the 27th, we are coming together again. We have the congregational meeting at 12:30 in the sanctuary. Members vote on changes to our bylaws. Talk with your board member in the lobby today. And now, the welcome song.
Take this moment and respectfully greet the Spirit of Christ and every individual around you whom you love so very much.
Good morning. All right, there we go. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. And at this time, we offer a prayer for the intentions that have been placed in this box over the past week. And then these intentions are prayed over by our prayer team as well. So at this time, I'd like to ask those in the prayer ministry to stand and join me as we hold prayer consciousness for those names who've been placed in this box. I'd like to invite you to say these words as if they were your own. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. Just say that silently to yourself. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. We can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. We are God's mighty power and God's grace. We emanate God's mighty power and God's grace. We receive God's mighty power and God's grace. For it is through grace that we are inspired, we are healed. It is through grace that we share our connection of love. And as we bring our hearts to the names of those that are in this box, we feel God's mighty power and God's grace for them, that they may recognize and remember their power and their grace. For this truth, we are so grateful, and so it is. Amen.
Close your eyes at this moment and take a deep breath. And through that breath, tell your body to relax and let go. Take a moment so that you, inside of you, can find God. Your own experience with the divine. It might take a word or an image or a memory. Or nothing. Try to bring your attention away from the mind and to that space that beyond the mind we call the heart. And open that door. And make yourself comfortable. And be open and receptive to have that beautiful, mystical encounter with your Creator. And breathe there. And relax there. And rest there. And let yourself be loved there. Imagine at this moment that you are being embraced and cherished. That all of the power of this universe as love, it's reaching out for you, caressing you and embracing you. And loving you. And the heart continues to open. And the presence becomes and expands. And you experience this amazing sense of unity and oneness with everyone around you, with all of life. You realize that in this communion, in this awareness, and in this state lies your safety and well-being. God is enough. God is enough. Just let yourself fall in love with God as you, in every breath, in every experience, in every encounter, God. We join in that vibration of the divine as us as we continue to deepen in this holy silence together.
Give us this day our daily bread. You said you would supply all my needs according to your riches. I have but to ask, and I shall receive. To go from here and share this love you gave to me, to show someone who's lost and help them find their way, the way to truth and faith, so they can be free like me, free like me. Lord, we are your love. Lord, we are your peace. Lord, we are your joy this day. This
Thank you so much, everybody, and that Latin music and the choir singing in Spanish. Wonderful. We'd like to start today's service by reading off my journal. I'm a person who journals. I've been journaling for like 35 years, and I decided on getting a journal for my experience in Texas. So I would like to start off by reading some excerpt. It was 7:30 in the morning on my second day at the detention center. I'm assuming that I would be asked by an attorney to translate for her, when one of the pro bono group leaders said to me, "You need to go with Maria to her hearing and take notes." I'm not an attorney, I'm a translator. It doesn't matter, we need you to accompany her and take notes, be her support during her credible fear interview. Shortly after Maria and I passed through security, her name was called off by the guard. We walked into a cold, empty room inside a building called court. A desk with a phone, no asylum officer there. The interview took place by phone, so only the two of us were there, like mother and daughter. She's my oldest daughter's age, almost 20. Her gaze was filled with uncertainty, sadness, and fear. What had prompted this young lady to leave her country with her 2-year-old and travel close to 4,000 miles, I wondered as the interview was getting started. She left Nicaragua and with her mother, aunt, uncle, and son, but only she and her son made it to the border, to the US. She crossed the river with her baby, her fear, her dream of making it to what she called the promised land, to be soon picked up by Border Patrol, and taken into a temporary facility called the Ice Box. For it's very cold. No beds, nothing there, just laying there. A couple of days later, she was taken to Dilley, Texas to start a process of asylum. I could tell she had no clue, spoke no English. She had no clue of the legal aspects or what she would be up to. All she knew was that if she stayed in her home country, she would not survive, nor her immediate family. Asylum officer seemed fair, professional, doing his job. So many questions. Are you afraid of returning to your home country? Yes. Why are you afraid of returning to your home country? I will be murdered by the government. Have you been threatened or harmed? Yes. Who threatened or harmed you? The paramilitary. What did they do to you? They broke into our home, hit us, me and my family, placed tear gas all over the house, and threatened that if we were to protest against the government, we will all be murdered. Did you call the police? No. Why not? The police is corrupt and will not protect us. Did you ask for asylum in any of the countries you passed by? No. Non-stop questions and answers that lasted close to 3 hours. Maria had no idea whether it had gone well or not. I'm thinking to myself, at least for the time being, she's safe. She and her son get fed 3 times a day, have a bed to sleep in, and are given a chance to seek asylum. Still, you could tell and feel that her fear was creeping by the minute. And there I was, a unity minister trained to hold the highest in every situation, next to her, looking at her and saying, "You are safe, and somehow things will work out for you and your family." Maria wanting to believe. Me internally trusting that my vibration and presence would be experienced as a hug, for we could not hug, nor kiss, nor touch, and that somehow she could experience solace and peace. Hopefully she did. She smiled back, her eyes lit as we said goodbye. Replicate that 12 times, and that was my week in Dilley, Texas. So I ended up being in contact with 13 different women from different countries. mostly South America, Central America, but I even saw some Romanian and Chinese women there. This was at the South Texas Family Detention Center. 12 hours, I would say, of being totally immersed in the energy of fear and working with illegal staff that were all there to support them legally and trying to figure out in each interview how we could build a case for them to stay. Most of these women come from what is called the Northern Triangle, which is Honduras, Salvador, and Guatemala. And they're mostly coming because they're running away from extortion, death threats, gang, and domestic violence. Actually, I did not know that El Salvador is the most violent country in the world that is not engaged in war right now. As you know, I was invited by Aida Habel, who used to be the board president here when I got hired. And she asked me, would you come with me and translate during a week in the border? And I didn't do any research. I just said yes, and then I had no idea what I was up to until I made it there. So today I would like to share with all of you about my spiritual insights as I experienced that week in my contact with all of these women. I could go into what I now know about immigration policy and when I think it's done well or not, but I'm not gonna get political because I'm a minister and I'm here at church. But of course, like everybody else, we have our own opinions. What really comforts me is that at least in this particular detention center, they are taken care of. I mean, the kids they go to some sort of school, they have a gym, they eat every day, and so that made me feel better than hearing other stories about the cage and the perreras and the ice box. I could spend the whole afternoon here just sharing stories, but my essence, what I feel it's relevant today, it's just to share my insights, and I think can maybe support you in any way today. What was happening to me before going over there? Well, after a year of separation, we had signed divorce papers, so I'm closing a big chapter of my life, and then immediately, like 3 days later, I'm facing women who are by themselves under the most dreadful conditions. And like I said, not essentially in my ignorance, I assume that most people come because they're poor and because they want to survive. Yes, they do, but it's really, they are in panic for their lives. And many of them, most of them, have been hurt or abandoned or mistreated, and they are pulling strength from when they don't even know they had to keep their children safe. And a common denominator, unfortunately, and this sounds awful, but as each one of them opened up to their story, they had some family member or friend who had either been beheaded or chopped or you name it, burned. As I'm hearing these stories, I'm telling myself and realizing at the deepest level how blessed I have been in my life. And we know that these things happen in the world, but it takes another measure when you are actually sitting there and hearing that. And then I'm wondering inside of me, what is the deeper purpose? I really believe in divine order, and I know that everything in life is synchronistic. So I'm thinking, I know I'm here for a deeper reason that I hope I can discover as I go through this week. I was so especially amazed at some of these women that walked into this prep session, the attorney and myself, with a smile, and then they started sharing their horror stories, and you go like, how can you smile? In spite of everything, in spite that you don't really know what's gonna happen next, and you're still, there's something inside of you that is holding you together to the point where you can give me a sincere smile. And I'm thinking, who's helping who here? Right? What are you showing me? Because it's so easy to be positive and faithful when our lives have been stable and good. But to see that when they have not, it has not been, is really transformational. So right from the start, the first lady that we encounter, she says, she comes up to us, Aira's next to me, and she says, oh, I'm going into my third interview, and I wonder why a third, and I don't know, and I'm from Honduras, and I went, I crossed the border, I went through the, I don't know, desert, but she had marks from thorns all over her hands, and I came with my son, and I'm just fearing for my life. I had my own business, my food stand, and I didn't want to pay the gangs the weekly money they were requesting, the tax war, and I fled. But I've been praying, and I have so much faith, and I was asking God for angels to come my way, and you both show up. And I'm like, oh my God, she's seeing us as angels. Isn't that? Which took me to this realization that when in Unity we talk about our divine nature and we talk about the power of strength, it's real. Strength is one of our powers. And like philosopher Nietzsche would say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I'm seeing this strength, and I'm being touched and reminded how strong I really am too by nature. That's what happens when other people stand up and model that for us, that we are reminded. Earlier this week, I ran into this quote, which connects me to another story. It says, ego says, once everything falls into place, I will find peace. Spirit says, find peace and everything will fall into place. Rosa from Guatemala, believe me, I'm changing names because as you go into these interviews, you have to pledge that you're going to be confidential. So you will never know who they are. But Rosa from Guatemala, third grade education. She came across with a 13-year-old daughter who we had connected somehow in that area. We had already, the daughter and I. I'm asked to go to her credible fear interview, and she's sharing that she's in fear of a stalker, this guy who's always chasing her. She's fearful because her daughter got hit by some fellow students in the school, and because within a year period, both her husband and baby died of unknown causes that she believes is the product of witchcraft. So the asylum officer says, so what are you afraid of? And this became like her mantra throughout the interview. I fear everything. I fear everything. I fear everything. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is deeper than crossing the border. I knew already by studying the law and seeing the whole dynamic that she didn't have a good case. The law will not really protect her in terms of the criteria that you need to have to make it, to get asylum here. And I'm thinking, even if she did, she has to deal with this trauma and this belief system, right? It's like everything had power over her. It happens to us, right? Whatever we give it power to has power over us. And she was modeling that for me. Then after the interview, I just couldn't but be a unity minister. And I said, I need you just to have a chat with you. And I said, I can't imagine the things you have gone through and these 2 losses recently. But you know what? There's a power that is greater than that. And if we don't give it power to that power, we're so exposed to everything else. So can you open up to another possibility that maybe it was your husband and daughter were supposed to leave and that there's something else showing up for you? And then I wrote her an affirmation, and she started repeating it. I said, do it again, right? And as I was interacting with her, I'm reminded of like, well, how different is she from me or many of us where we give power to conditions out there. Those conditions have power over us. We create our drama stories. We become victims, and that we think that if we get just the perfect job or the perfect partner or the perfect whatever, that life will be solved. That I'm going to be okay. And Rosa reminded me of that. Aida came through I was there by myself, and she asked me, Ana, what did you tell that lady that she looks different? And I said, well, besides giving her an affirmation, I really don't know, but I know Spirit was just speaking through me. And then I even told her, I said, well, that stalker might be in love with you. You're cute. And because she's, no, I'm ugly. I said, no, you're cute. Maybe it's time to get a new boyfriend or something, try to make it fun. But she started just lightening up. And my core message to her was, even if you get to the US, there are going to be new challenges there. It's not going to be the solution to your life, right? So whether you're in the US or in Guatemala or in China, it's right here, right now. How can you make contact with your inner peace? Which takes me to my favorite one of all. Her name, Adela, she's from Honduras. I saw her towards the end. She's early 40s. She walks into the room. I'm there with Aida. And she's with this beautiful energy. I liked her. I still think of her, and I get this warm feeling in my heart. And we go, okay, so tell us your story. And she says, well, I have 3 children, the 2 boys, and they're college age, and I have a 15-year-old with me. And after 16 years of marriage, my husband left me, and unexpectedly, and I had a job, but in Honduras, when you are in your early 40s, you're considered old, so I got fired and I don't have a job. And I'm trying to make ends meet, and I've literally starved many days, gone hungry, and I'm looking for an opportunity in America. I have family in North Carolina. I'm like, really, where? Charlotte and Clayton. I said, okay, I live in North Carolina. But as she's sharing her story, I'm already wearing my attorney hat, and this is not gonna fly. I said, hey, we need more. Have you been threatened? Have you been harmed? No. And I said, well, how come everybody from Honduras here has a horror story? What is it different about you? She says, I pray a lot. I belong to a prayer group. And even as I'm crossing all these countries to make it to the border, I'm calling in regularly for prayer support. Maybe she was calling you, Mimi. And I'm like, oh my God. And you know what? When I saw this lady, I'm going to say it in Spanish because that's how it felt. I saw her llena de Dios. She was full of God. I can still feel her energy. She validated to me the power of prayer and what Psalm 23 says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will feel no evil. And I'm sure that I know she was cheering up all the other women there. But what is my greatest gift this week, from this week? I would say that it really reconnected me to my Catholic roots. Don't worry, I'm going to still be a unity minister. But, you know, in my high school, it was a high school by American nuns, and they just stressed so much on the role of a Christian woman in the world and reaching out and bringing your gift and spending time and with people in need. So I reconnected with that part of me and with the joy that comes from doing that. I could not explain to you what it meant in some other particular story, which this lady is telling me. She's in her 40s, and she's telling me for the first time that she's told anyone that she had been raped when she was 15. And she says, "You're the first person that I'm telling you." And how the whole conversation unfolded to the point where I feel that that spirit is just taking over and reaching out to this person. And I go, what could be more meaningful and fulfilling than this? Reminded of Tagore's quote on service, "I slept and dreamed that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted and behold that service was joy." We were there to be hope, and they were there to remind us that we are compassion. I must say that this experience really humbled me, and I told myself, don't you ever, ever complain about anything in your life again. It opened my heart, and I'm asking myself, how does this translate into my ministry and into my role? It was very inspiring to see that it was women supporting women because all the attorneys were female. And it's like this, we had some prosecutors there, were like judges, taking time away to say, hey, I'm here to support you. And I'm thinking, not only did they offer legal aid, but they offer another perspective as to say, hey, trust humanity. There's still hope. And I go back, well, Anna, you never know if you were born in a country like that with whatever conditions, maybe you would have joined a gang. We never know. But I have kept praying for these women. A while ago, I got woken up at 4 a.m, and I was just taking there and just connecting with all of them. And my prayer was, you're sustained by grace. God is greater than any human condition. God is your safety. And with God, there's always, always a way. So would you hold that for me at this moment? You can close your eyes or whatever feels right, but we're just going to place specifically, initially, all these ladies that were in contact with me and Aida. And because you're part of me and we're part of one community, you were there with me. I felt the prayers, I felt the support. So many people saying, hey, thank you for doing that. So you were there, being the love and the compassion. So we embrace them at this moment, and to the entire center, and to even every refugee on this planet. And we embrace them all. In the unconditional power of the divine love, on which they are sustained. Even if life has been difficult and there's no point of reference, we go beyond all of that. To know God is there and they are God. That there's a Christ presence and all of his 12 powers ready to support, ready to open and show that there's always a way. My prayer today is also that as a country, we do what is right for our own citizens, but that we may not lose our heart and compassion for those who have genuinely have a reason to be taken in. And my prayer is too that you and I can keep our lives together, but still be willing and open to serve others. I love Mother Teresa's words. I am the pencil with which God writes a love letter to the world. And remember, when we have this love to give and expand, no one is a burden. Our brother isn't heavy. He's just our brother.
Road is with many a winding turn that leads us to who knows where, who knows where. But I'm strong, strong enough to carry him. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. So on we go. His welfare is my concern. No burden is he to bear. It's a long, long road from which there is no return. While we're on our way to there, why don't we share? And Lord, ooh, doesn't weigh me down at all, 'cause he ain't heavy. He's my brother. He ain't heavy. He's my brother.
Thank you so much. When I came back that week, I couldn't make it to the 9. Came later and came through the balcony while the 9 o'clock service people were doing the peace song. And at that very moment, I realized what it means to be part of this community. What it means to have access to this information and knowledge that we teach, these principles that we teach in Unity. And I just want to say thank you for, there's been a lot of growth in me ever since I've been in this church for the last 7 years. And this is our treasure. Remember that and share it with the world, for it's needed. So anyways, thank you. Thank you. And now I have to ask you for money. Is that okay? Yes, it is. It's all God. So, like in the video, it says, remember that 10 cents out of every dollar that you give goes out into the world to make a difference, which makes me feel really great about what we do here. So hold your gift either in your hand or in your heart. Many of us do this electronically. Remember, you can text, you can go online, become a consistent giver, or give it today in any way. And as we do, let's affirm together, divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And before we hear the choir sing Guantanamera, we have a video of something really important. So bring it on.
Hi, I'm Mimi Lomiller, Pastoral Care Minister of Unity of the Triangle. Practice. When was the last time you gave yourself the gift of self-care by recharging your spirit? Come discover what your heart is longing for in a safe and nurturing environment. Please join me for a spiritual retreat entitled How to Pray and Meditate. Hi, I'm Mimi Lomiller, Pastoral Care Minister of Unity of the Triangle. When was the last time you gave yourself how to pray and meditate in small groups, including breakout sessions? Come discover what your heart is longing for. Some of the topics that we will be covering, the reasons for praying. Please join me for a spiritual retreat entitled How to Pray and Meditate, being offered November 1st, 2nd, This retreat is for everybody, both beginners and those with together we will experience how to pray and meditate. The deadline to both register and pay is breakout sessions 15. Give yourself this time to nourish your spirit and discover how to create a rich and fulfilling spiritual practice, just in time for the hubbub of the holiday season. I look forward to sharing with everybody. Both beginners and those with advanced spiritual practices.
I would like to share something about
the deadline
Mimi,
to both register and pay is October 15th. Give yourself this time to nourish your spirit and discover how to create a rich and fulfilling spiritual practice, just in time for the hubbub of the holiday season. I look forward to sharing with you.
offered to
Hi, I'm Mimi.
everybody else, and that was the birth of a new idea. So please consider that. It's really will be very intimate, very heartfelt, and very transformational. So I hope you can join Mimi. And now, okay, now from tears to joy. Okay, so can we shift gears there? Okay, so let's bring it on. Isabella Montoya. Come with me. Come. No? Okay. Okay, well. How was your day today? I see lots of beautiful kids. Hello. Hey. Oh, you made it. Oh, my. She has Venezuelan blood, right? So say hola.
Hola.
Oh, that was perfect, Isabella. I love you. Okay, so I think I have an announcement to give, right? Or not? I was told by Janice. Yeah, okay, yes. So there's going to be a Uniteens fundraiser next Sunday, October 13th, at both 9 and 11 services. We're going to have chili, cornbread lunch, bake sale, pumpkin butter, and a raffle. So please support our Uniteens next week. And now we're ready to give you a blessing. Are you ready, Isabella? Yes, you can. Thank you. Okay, together. If you want to be happy, practice kindness. We bless you as you express love to yourself and others. And so it is. Let's all join in singing the peace song.
Welcome to peace.
Prayer of protection in Spanish by myself, and then you all joining me in English. La luz de Dios nos ilumina, el amor de Dios nos envuelve, el poder de Dios nos protege, y la presencia de Dios vela por nosotros. Donde quiera que estamos, Dios es y está con nosotros siempre, y todo está bien. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. I cook for everybody. Come to the fellowship and try my food.